Shalom to you, Jeff, over in Florida, Gary in Arkansas, Betty Tipping. Betty, yeah, I always forget where you are. You in Missouri? I always forget. I'm sorry. And the other Betty too. I think it's because there's two Bettys. It like fries my brain. Kenneth, Shalom in Texas. Brendan, Alabama. Harrison in Pennsylvania or Thailand? Tet in the Philippines. Pei in Hong Kong. How are you all doing? And I am broadcasting to you from rainy Philippines. Usually sunny, rainy lately. We're in the rainy season. We have two seasons here: summer and rainy, and summer and rainy. Shalom Vicky in the Philippines. Oh, Harrison's in Bama. Okay. Tennessee. Betty Tipping is in the foothills of Blue Ridge Mountains of Tennessee. Yep, Brenda, Sweet Home, Alabama, indeed. I am just enjoying a big mug, my giant mug, with two tea bags of English Tea Shop kosher organic tea. The flavor today is beetroot, ginger, and curry leaves. And I added to that also some milk, actual real milk, steamed, and a teaspoon of erythritol and a teaspoon of vanilla, sugar-free vanilla. It's good. Good. It takes the edge off of the curry, you know. Preemptively striking before the rainy. You know, I'm such a Filipino now. The when I was new in the Philippines, it'd be rainy season, and I always had my shirt off in the apartment I used to rent, just like whatever. But now I find myself getting cold, and I went to school in Boston and in Moscow, so check those winters out. And now I get cold in the rainy season. Yeah, fancy drink, fancy drink. Woo! All right. Just a little announcement. Today is payday for Patreon. So Baruch Hashem for that. Some of the pledges have been declined. I understand people get money problems sometimes. That's fine. Just remember us because I think we're at about, I think 35% under what the pledge was for this last month. The pledges were for this last. So that's kind of lame when you're planning on it and then you fall short 30%. So, but there's still time. So maybe just check if you don't mind if you're a patron of mine over on Patreon. Let me put the banner up over here. If you're one of my patrons, would you please just make sure your charge went through this month? That really helps us to keep doing what we're doing. I'm working real hard trying to put out lots of content for you guys. I really want to make this work and reach a lot of people. It's my belief that there is no better way to eliminate bad doctrine than to understand the biblical languages. That really is the best way. And by the way, if you've been yearning to learn Greek, well, we have Greek going on over at Patreon now. Yep, Greek is going on for the, I think it's inner court tier. I've got 6 lessons in the Septuagint and 3 lessons, oh, 4 lessons now in the book of Revelation in the Greek, doing immersion, just like we do with the Hebrew here. But my focus is different than how others teach it. I teach the Greek as if it's a dialect, a Jewish dialect. Just like we've got Yiddish. Yiddish was originally a dialect of German about 1,000 years ago, maybe a bit further back than that, of the old German. And it was a mix with Hebrew and German, written with Hebrew alphabet, and it's got some Slavonic words like from Poland, Polish, and Slav, Russian, and other Slavic, and it just kind of it's got its own words too, right? It's not just a dialect of German; it is a language in its own right. It's really cute, but Jews turned German into our own kind of dialect, right? Same thing with classical Spanish in the 1400s. Many Sephardic Jews today, you can hear this in Israel. I remember hearing a taxi cab driver speaking in Spanish, and I asked him, "Is that Ladino?" He says, "Yep." So that's a Jewish Spanish preserved when we were kicked out in 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and the Jews got kicked out of Spain, so they went down to North Africa and Arabia and other places. And we have Judeo-Arabic, and there's other languages that are kind of smorgasbords of Hebrew and whatever the language where the Jews lived in those time, where the Hebrews lived. And so it's my belief that Greek is the same. The scriptures, when written in Greek or translated in Greek, it was the Jewish dialect of Greek. It wasn't just Koine Greek, so called common Greek. It was our flavor of Koine Greek. And so my approach to teaching Greek is to look under the hood and to tell you what the underlying Hebrew words are to some of the important words. And what I do is I use the Septuagint as a key. So even when we're reading from the so called New Testament, when I'm defining a Greek word, I'll give you sometimes a normal lexicon definition, but I'll also often tell you, hey, just so you know, this word, this is the Greek word that was used to translate Hebrew blah blah, right? In the Septuagint, when the rabbis made the translation of the Tanakh. And I think that really solves a lot of theological difficulties when we're kind of understanding the Hebrew under the hood of Greek, which is why I also encourage that you study Hebrew first before you get into Greek, right? Otherwise, you're going to be learning Gentile Greek, I think. And it's funny, I have probably, I think I have over 20 Greek grammars. Now, that doesn't mean I read them all, okay? I used to be a book hoarder like many others. So okay, so that's yeah, probably read like five, but and glance through others, sometimes looking for stuff in the topic index. But most of them will admit the Greek of the New Testament is highly Semitized, right? But they won't admit that it's actually our way of doing it. It's Jewish Greek. Jewish Greek. So if you're interested in that, please check it out on Patreon. I got the lessons where I'm piloting classes on that, seeing how much interest there is. All right. All right. Gary says New Testament is just commentary on the Tanakh. A lot of it is. Harrison says Eucharisto Rab. Thank you for that. You too, Achi. Very nice. He wrote in Greek. Harrison's liking the Greek. Cool. But if you're overloaded, stick with the Hebrew, guys. If it's too much, don't. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So let's get started. אבינו מלכנו כן רצון כי בלילה הזאת כי רוחך תחיה עם עדי וגם עם את כל תלמידיי. כי אנחנו רוצים לראות את פניך. Okay, here we are. We are in First Kings. I looked in the comic book to see if there was anything interesting. Terrible, like clip art picture for today. So I was kind of itching to get back into the graphic novel. Soon. There's some good stuff coming up. But right now, it's just horrible. It's like it looks like I don't know. It looks like like a like a 6-year old drew the skyline of Jerusalem or something, and then there's a whole bunch of verses, and that's all that's on the page, and a bunch of white space. I'm like, come on! It really is. My verdict on the book is it's really kind of they had a lot of enthusiasm when they started, and then they kind of fizzled it. They should have made it like 3 parts, right? Then you could have kind of kept the enthusiasm going, give the artist a break so they didn't burn out. You guys who've been with me since last year or longer, you remember we started with the graphic novel, right? Shalom, Dr. Vera. Good to have you, Achi. All right, so let's go. Let me get the mouse where you can see it. Okay, verse 18. Vayhi tirot zinri ki nilkeda ha'el vayavo el armon da beit hamelech vayisroth alive et da beit melech. I just realized the Patreon banner is blocking. Hold on. Ba'esh vayomot. All right. By the way, how's the sound? Sound okay, everybody? All right. Vayhi, and it was, or it came to pass. Kirot. This is an infinitive from ra'ah, resh, aleph, hey, and the hey went away. So ki, as, or when, ra'ot, seeing of Zimri. Technically, it's a construct chain, but I didn't want to confuse you with putting the verb in a construct and blah, blah, blah. So don't worry about that. Okay, thanks for the sound report, guys. Great. So it came to pass as Zimri saw he that Nilkedah. Nilkedah. So this is a Nephal word, actually. The noon is our indicator that it's Nephal. And Lakad is the root. Lakad. Lamed, Kaf, Dalit. So Lakad means fight. Fight. Lakad. And Lakad, I just realized I should have colorized that. Lakad, that's she. But it's a Nephal, so it's passive. Nilkada was, I'm sorry, did I say fight? I was thinking Nilcham. Lakad is to capture. Did I say capture or did I say fight? I'm not sure what I said even. So Nilkada means she was captured. Who was captured? Ha, yeah, the city. So, Vayhi kirot Zimri. So literally, and it was as seeing of Zimri. So, and it was when Zimri saw he that Nilkedah Ha'el, that she was captured, the city. Remember, city's feminine, even though it doesn't look like it. Yeah, maybe, Gary. Vayavo, that he came. Yavo is he will come. Vayavo is and he came. El, Aleph Lamed, if you're just listening. Armon, Armon, Aleph Resh Mem Vav Nun. This is an interesting word. I have it highlighted on the screen. This word means palace. Palace, with usually the idea of it being a fortified palace, like where the king lived, right? Not just some nobleman's palace. Fortified and tough. We have another word for palace. Who knows the other word? It's a more common word, actually. The more common word is, I'll write on the screen, Heichal. Heichal. Palace or temple, right? Or you could just think of it as palace, but if it's God's palace, then we say temple, right? So why do we need Armon? Hey, Shalom Thea. Armon is the indigenous word. This is the original Hebrew word. Heichal is borrowed from another language, I think from Aramaic. I could be wrong. I know it's a loan word. Why don't I remember the source of that? It's not Ugaritic. I think it's Aramaic. Anyway, if anybody knows, type it in the comments or later you can, or in the live chat rather. So Armon is the original Hebrew word, which ironically is rarer than Heichal. But Armon has more meaning to it. So Armon is not just a palace, but it's like fortified, right? It's ready for battle. Okay. So, so what happened? So you could interpret this as Vayhi kirot Zimri. When Zimri saw that the key that Nilkadaha'il, the city was captured, Vayavo, then he came el unto Armon, unto that, like citadel maybe? Da Beit Hamelech, the house of the king. Right? So the king lived in the fortress. It's not necessarily fortress, right? We have Migdol is a fortress, but it's the king's residence, which is fortified. Vayisrof. Yod, Sin, Resh, Fe. Saraf. If you don't remember the verb, think of there's a derived word from this. Seraphim or seraph. What's a seraph? Well, unless we assume seraph from Egyptian language, which is like a flying snake, then we assume it's fiery angel. It's like a fiery angelic being is a seraph. If we go to the Egyptian, then it's like a snaky being, snaky angelic being, which could be what the Nachash was, the serpent in the garden, right? So it's kind of interesting. The Egyptian thing could be an older Hebrew holdout. Okay. Okay. Guardian, interesting. So Shomer uses guardian, but true, a seraph can be appointed as a guardian, right? Like a throne guardian. Yeah. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Ver, seraphim, that's right. So it's from this word. So saraf is to burn, right? That's why we get the idea that the seraphim or the seraph, throne guardians, that they are fiery creatures, right? Vayisrof, and he burned alive upon it. Oops. What did he burn upon it? Eight et da Beit Melech, house of king. It's kind of strange. Up here we have Beit HaMelech, and down here we have Beit Melech, right? So it looks like the scribe was in a hurry. Yeah, maybe he's like recording it while it's burning. He's writing on the scroll. Ah, by Yisrael, alive, Beit Melech. Oh, I didn't write HaMelech. Go, go. Just keep going. Ba'esh. Ba'esh. So the bait, this Armon is on fire. This Armon is on fire. So bait can mean in, with, against. So the winner is going to be with, he's burning the king's house, with, ah. That's a holdover from ha, with the aish, with the fire. Have you guys heard the the Bollywood song about this vocabulary word over on Patreon? Aish, aish, aish. You're gonna get burned. If you haven't heard it, check it out. So ba'esh, with the fire. Vayomot. Then he died. This is a hollow verb. The verbal root is mem, wow, or vav, tav, to die. So our vav is missing. When a verbal root has a second letter as a vav, the vav disappears a lot of times. Luke says the tomb of Prophet Nahum has been restored in the Kurdish city of Al Kosh in Iraq. Jews are visiting there to pray. Oh, how interesting. Interesting. Gary says, he's dead, Jim. True. True, he is dead. Mate who? That means he's dead. All right. 18, not too bad. Concurrent. Welcome, everybody. Eucharisto with Harrison's greeting in Greek. I bless. Any comments or questions before we go through the verse one more time? That was a big verse. Well, I feel a bit like, whew, I don't really want to read through it again. And I just realized I don't have to. Here's what I'll do. I'm not going to translate it all. I don't know why I feel burdened to translate it all again. I mean, burden like it's a burden. But I will just read through it, okay? If you have a question, you ask me. Vayhi kirot zimri. Okay, maybe we'll translate. And it came to pass, as Zimri saw, Ki Nilkedah Ha'el, that the city had been captured, Vayavo el Armon, da Beit HaMelech, that he came unto Armon. And you know what? It's interesting. Yeah, the monarch indicates I probably should have marked it like this. It's a bigger construct chain than I marked it as. Sorry, this is my clue. The monarch. He's telling us it's connected real closely to the next part. So let me see if I can fix it a bit better. No, why did I selected black? It gave me violet. There we go. Open up that compartment. Yeah. Okay. So da Armon da Beit Hamelech. And since the last word is definite with ha, that ha will impart his ha-ha-ness, ha-ha, to the rest of the chain. And we try to say V in English to make sense of that. V. So here's the construct chain. So unto da Armon, the Armon, the palace of the Beit HaMelech, of the house of the king. So it sounds a bit weird in English. That's probably why my instinct was not to include it in the construct chain, but it is. It should be part of the chain. So just make it sound right in English. Unto the king's residence, maybe, comma, the king's house, or unto the palace, the palatial fortress, comma, the king's house. It's all purple for you. I thought I made it work in black. Vayisrof. Oh, and he burned alive upon it. Et da Beit Melech. See, it's kind of weird. The speech pattern is kind of weird. This happens sometimes in First Kings. So I really think that the scribe had a different dialect of Hebrew, whatever tribe he's from who's writing it down. He burned upon it the house of king, right? And again, there's no the king. So it's like, okay, you know what? I think I'm okay with him not having the ha ha here. Maybe what he's saying. So look what happened. And he came unto the king's house, the palace, comma, the house of the king, and he burned upon it. Oh, but there's an et here. There's an et. We do require ha. I was going to say it's a king's house. Like, can you believe a king's house? But really, 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 it is grammatically defective. It should be ha melech. But we know what he's talking about because he just told us up above. The king's house. B a ash, with the ash, with the fire. Vayamot, and he died. And he died. So many people purple here today. I like it. By the way, if anybody's watching over on the Patreon, let me know. We're live over on YouTube, but you can watch live on Patreon too. That's fine. I just wasn't checking in to see if there's a chat over there. Let me check real quick. I don't want to leave anybody out. See if there's any questions. By the way, we got teachings over on Patreon that we do not have on YouTube. Check it out. Yeah, we're still like 35% under the pledges. Oh. Okay, I think we're okay. There is a comment over there. Let me see the comment. Let's go. Comment from Tet. Hey, shalom, Tet. Either way. Either way. Here or on YouTube. Either way. All right, let's go on to the next verse. Actually, maybe I'll read this quickly. Vayikirot Zimri ki nilkedah ha'ir. Vayavo el Armon beit HaMelech. Vayisrov alaiv et beit Melech. Vaish vayamot. Okay. Fire, fire, fire. You're gonna get burned. Okay, verse 19. ועל חטאותיו אשר חטא לעשות הרע בעיני אדוני, ללכת בדרך ירבעם, ובחטאתו, or pardon me, ובחטאתו אשר עשה להחטיא את ישראל. Shalom Begress. Welcome. Shalom Davy. More in the chat, but fewer viewers. How'd that happen? All right. Ayin Lamed means upon, but it also has the idea of concerning, right? Concerning, like about the issue, right? So concerning, or chatotaiv. So this is from the word chatat, which can mean sin. The sin of him, asher, which or with which, chata, he sinned. La'asot hara, to do the evil. Be'inei Adonai, in the eyes of Adonai. So you can translate that as in the Lord's sight, if you like. Tea break, as we're at the Etnachta. Yeah, the tea is nice today. Woo! So again, La'al chatat, pardon me, La'al chatotav, concerning his sin, asher, which or with which, chata, he sinned. La'asot, it's an infinitive from the verb la'asa. I almost said from the verb. Ayin seen hey, ha, the evil, maybe even feeling more like that which was evil. Be da Adonai, in the eyes of Adonai. Lalechet. This is one of those words you just have to memorize. This is the infinitive form of the verb halach. It's the infinitive. So to halach, to walk. Wow, I made a long cough, didn't I? Well, it looks cooler in cursive. When you write in cursive, it's like you just go like that. Make that guy long. Lalechet, to go. To go. Be, in, construct chain. Da, derech, Yarovam. And of course, because that last word, Yarovam, is a name, that makes it definite. And when the last word in a construct chain is definite, we impart the word the to the other words in the chain. Unless it sounds dumb in English, then we don't. So, be, in, the derech, the way, or the road of Yarovam, in the way of Yarovam. What do you do? Lalechet, walking, derech Yarovam, walking in the way of Yarovam. Oh, that's a good name for a song. I see you all day long. Lalechet b'derech Yarovam. You might think you're slick with your moon god. Lalechet b'derech Yarovam. B'derech Yarovam, b'derech Yarovam. I love mixing Islam in the mix sometimes. Who liked the Pesha song about Muhammad? You guys hear the the song I put out there on Patreon about Oh Muhammad, why do you love Pesha? Pesha is a serious sin. It's like breaking one of the Ten Commandments. Because if you study about Muhammad, you'll learn that he actually broke all 10 of the Big Ten. If you really study him intensely from the religion sources, you'll learn that he broke all the commands, all the big 10 at least. Uvechatato, and with his sin, asher, with which, or which, le'asa, ayin sin, hey, he did, lehachati. So this is a hefil. You can always recognize the hefil. Either there'll be a hey prefix to the front, or there'll be a yod jammed in before the third root letter, or the hirik, where you'd expect there to be a yod, will be lengthened into a tseri. That's that's this guy, little horizontal dots, right? So sometimes the yod comes down, and he makes another dot next to the chirik. So there's usually footprints. We have to be language detectives, and we kind of solve over time what's happening. Somebody say something in the chat. Last thing I see is Bgress saying shalom and guardian. Let's see anything else. Maybe let me do something. Maybe it's frozen on my end, because I definitely don't want to miss questions. If you guys have any questions, sometimes if I change it to top chat and then back to live chat, you'll get it. Or maybe you're just all paying attention. All right. Okay, let's read through verse 19 again, and you do your best to translate before I do. Let me check over there and see if Ted or anybody else on Patreon has a question. Okay, no questions over there. Okay, thanks, guys. I see it. Great. Okay, good. Just listening is good. So try to translate before I do this time. Let's make it a laser pointer. Concerning, literally, upon his sin. Asher, which, chata, he sinned. Right? In Hebrew, you don't just do a sin. You can do a sin. You can asad, but you can also chatat. You can sin a sin. La'asot, to do or doing, ha, the ra, reishayin, if you're just listening, evil. Ba, that's bait, Einei Adonai, in the eyes of the Einayim of Yodhe Wawhe, Hashem. Lalechet, which is the infinitive from halach, lalechet, walking, be derech Yarovam, walking in the derech, the way of Yarovam. Uvechatato, and with his sin. Asher, which, or with which, hey, he sinned. Lehacha. Oh, I didn't finish the verse before. I got talking about the Hefel. Oh, how long was the sound out for? Man, I thought we had that solved, good and done. I haven't had issues with that in a while. How long was it out for? 45 seconds? Okay. So maybe just the last reading. Did you get all the translation? The Hefil part? Okay. Lehachati is Hefil. That's causative of chata. Chata is to sin, and this is to cause to sin, like to entice to sin. So, lechachati, to cause to sin, to entice to sin, et Yisrael. And then I just read through it one more time. No tones. על חטאותיו, אשר חטא לעשות הרע בעיני אדוני ללכת בדרך ירבעם. ובחטאתו אשר עשה להחטיא את Israel. Kind of like a throat twister there for a bit. Thank you for that. Heads up, Brenda and Harrison and Single Tax Jacks and Pay and Betty. I was just having so much confidence that we don't get muted anymore. Bayan, that's terrible. Okay, anyway, we won't dwell on it. Let's do one more verse to make up for that. One more verse, and then we'll be done. Going a little bit long tonight, or today, this morning, whatever the case may be for you. Verse 20. Verse 20. This is actually a good place to stop after we do 20, because check it out. It has a pay at the end. That is a scribal marker showing there's supposed to be a lot of white space in the scroll after this. Like we just finished kind of a section. Okay. All right, let's just preview it. Now we have a construct chain. So v'da yeter da divrei zimri v'kishro asher kasha halohim ketuvim al da sefer da divrei hayamim le da malchei Yisrael. Yeah, like a page break. Yeah, my friend Joshua in the UK, he used to joke that it's a paragraph marker because pay for paragraph. Okay, the yeter. And the yeter, yod taf resh, means the rest or the remnant. The rest of divrei is construct from devarim. Devar is word. Devarim are words. Drop the mem. Words of Zimri. For the visual learners, put that in there. Vekishro. This is and the kesher. The word is actually kesher. Oh, nine. What's Max do? Kesher is like a rebellion, a conspiracy. But it does not. It means something different in modern Hebrew dialect. In modern Hebrew dialect, it's just connection, right? People say keep the kesher, like keep the connection. But in the Bible, it's a conspiracy. Keep the conspiracy. My, how languages change. So, and the conspiracy of him, right? If you're new, we have this legend over here showing you what the colors generally mean. Although I don't always follow it, but I do follow it usually when the words are colorized that way. Asher, with which Kashar, he rebelled, he conspired rather. I keep saying rebelling. To rebel is pasha, like Muhammad, who loves pesha. V'yeta divrei Zimri, and the rest of the affairs, the matters of Zimri, v'kishro, and his conspiracy, asher, with which Kashar, he conspired. Ha, this ha here, this is the hey interrogative. I'll go a bit closer so you can see it. It's like the upside down question mark. Para la pregunta en español. Is not lo, hello is not haim. They ketuvim. Ketuvim. Well, you guys know this. It's part of the Bible. We've got the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim, right? The written, the writings, the written, the writings. This is a passive participle from katav. So there's the root kaf, tav, and beit. Katav is to write. And you guys should know this from doing the Shema V'Ahavta, right? What's it say in the V'Ahavta? Uchtov tam, and you shall write them. Uchtov tam, and actually, uchtov tam, and you shall write them. Al mezuzot beitecha, on the doorposts of your house. Uvisharecha, and on your gates. Okay, so the oo in the middle, that's your hint that it's passive. So when you see that jammed in there and it looks kind of strange, we're probably talking passive. Okay. If it said kotivim, that would be writers or engravers, like the people who are doing the writing. But ketuvim are the things that are written. Okay. So halo haim are not they ketuvim. It's plural because haim written upon. Now we have a big construct chain. Da sefer da divrei hayamim. Now because hayamim is definite, that's going to make the whole chain definite, right? The ha is a v. So it imparts its definiteness. So, are not they written ketuvim al upon the sefer, the scroll, and its construct? So we say of, but then the divrei. So that's the construct from devarim. Devarim, words or things. We in the construct we lose the mem, and so it's of. Then it means of the. Oi, sorry. What did I hit? There we go. The divrei. So that's the words of, and the construct chain continues. Hayamim, the days. The sefer of the devarim of the days. So that's how you say chronicles. The whole thing means chronicles. Shalom, still here, right? Okay, good. Yeah, we didn't lose our audio. The chronicles, le, belonging to, le, sorry, I lost my pointer. Le, belonging to, construct chain, da, Malchei Yisrael. So it's another construct chain, and because the last word is a name, that's definite. So it will impart its definiteness to the other words in the chain. The and Malchei is construct plural from Melachim. Drop the mem, and we get kings of. So Al upon the Sefer, the scroll of the Devarim, words or affairs or happenings of Hayamim, the days. So that's Chronicles. So upon the Chronicles, le, to or belonging to, the Malchei is Melachim, kings of Yisrael, Israel. One more time. This time I'm just going to read through it, okay? Because we're going a bit late. I don't want to keep you too long. So I'll just read through it one more time. You do your best to understand. ויתר דברי זמרי וקשרו אשר קשר, הלא הם כתובים על ספר דברי הימים למלכי ישראל? And the answer is yes, they are. They are. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Thanks for my patrons. Please consider, if you are a patron, maybe consider upgrading, if you don't mind, your donation amount. Or if you're not a patron, please consider becoming a patron of mine. This is my parnasah, how I support my family. I really appreciate it. And we are trying to make it. Maybe I won't share the despair with you yet. So, for some reason, about a third of the pledges haven't processed. So, there's some denied cards and such this month. And even if all the pledges process, we're not really where we need to be at. So really appreciate you guys. If you appreciate the learning, please consider donating. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. We have our Koheleth class over on Patreon, our walk through the book of Koheleth for Levite steps and above members. All right. At the tier Levite steps. So thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Be blessed. And I will catch you tomorrow. Shalom, shalom.